Penny Hardaway was a 6'7" point guard who was on a path to be the second coming of Magic Johnson. He was picked as the guy to carry Nike after Michael Jordan left the NBA. And he was on the dominant Orlando Magic team with Shaq in the 90s. Hardaway was a dominant player early on that looked like he was destined for the Hall of Fame. But things took a big turn when injuries came into play. We're going to take a look at where he is now, but first we're going to take a quick look at the events that led him to where he is today. Penny Hardaway was born in 1971 in Memphis. His name was picked by his mother and inspired by one of her old classmates when she was younger. But after Penny was born, she had to move away for work, so he was raised by his grandmother. She always used to call him Pretty, but since she had such a thick southern accent, it sounded like Penny, so that's where that came from. By his senior season, Penny Hardaway would grow to be nearly 6'7" and average 36 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and nearly 3 blocks a game. He'd commit to the University of Memphis, and by his junior season, Penny was averaging 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists a game, and was a finalist for the Naismith and Wooden Awards. So he declared for the NBA draft instead of attending his senior year. In that offseason, he was filming a basketball movie called Blue Chips that had Shaq in it. The Magic were planning on taking Chris Webber with the 3rd overall pick in the draft, but the fact that Shaq was so impressed with Penny's basketball skills on set and a couple of good pre-draft workouts made Shaq convince the Magic to trade for Penny Hardaway on draft night. And that was a good move because the combination of Shaq, Penny Hardaway, and Dennis Scott would turn out to be a dominant one. In his time there, he'd finish 3rd in MVP voting, make the All-Star team 4 times, have a 60-win season, make it to the NBA Finals, and be picked as the guy to carry the Nike brand after Jordan retired. After that came some extremely popular Lil Penny commercials with a Penny Hardaway puppet.
What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Hey, you know the only time you guys yell box out is when you're out of donut. You guys remind me of my shoe closet. I got 1 penny and a bunch of loafers.
But also during his time on the Magic, he'd have a devastating knee injury that would go on to require 5 surgeries overall and clearly affect his athletic ability. He was never the same player after those surgeries and would go on to play for the Suns, Knicks, and the Heat, and miss a lot of games within that time. Penny Hardaway was on track to having an all-time great career, but that all changed with one knee injury. So his time on the Miami Heat was the last time Penny Hardaway was ever seen on an NBA court. So where is he now? After his retirement, Penny said his career didn't end the way he wanted it to, but he knew it was over. He took a lot of time to relax after the grind of being in the NBA for 15 years to just get away from it all. After about 4 years of enjoying the lifestyle he worked so hard to get, he considered being an analyst for the NBA, but instead got a call that would change his mind. He got a call from his old childhood friend Desmond Merriweather, who was now the coach for Leicester Middle School. Desmond convinced Penny to stop by and talk to his team, but instead of just stopping by, Penny learned about the kids on the team and the situations they were in at home, and he fell in love with them because he could relate. So from that point on, he fell in love with it and became the assistant coach and showed up every single day. And then when his close friend had to quit coaching because he was battling cancer, Hardaway would take over as head coach and go on to lead Leicester Middle School to 3 straight state titles. The plan there was for Desmond and Penny to follow the same group of kids to high school. So for the next season and most of the kids' freshman season, Desmond took the high school team over while Penny Hardaway took some time off. Sadly though, that year Desmond would pass away from cancer. So the next season Penny Hardaway came back and took the team back over in honor of Desmond. He helped them to win state titles once again for the next 2 seasons, including this past season in 2017. They finished as number 2 in the country on USA Today's list. Penny Hardaway's been a head coach for 5 seasons now and has won a state title in every single one of them. He said his main goal as head coach is to win games and breed his players for the NBA, and it looks like he's on the right path. And a piece of that high school team that Penny coached was his son Jaden Hardaway. Penny and Jaden had kept in touch, but hadn't had the best relationship until Penny started to coach. Once he did though, Jaden moved in with his dad in Memphis and got to know him and joined his state-winning basketball team. He wanted to be on the team, get more noticed by recruiters, but at the same time separate himself as his own person instead of just Penny Hardaway's son. He graduated in 2017, and now Jaden attends a postgraduate basketball team in Florida. Away from basketball and coaching though, Hardaway's played a huge part in his community. He helps out local basketball leagues, funded the University of Memphis' Sports Hall of Fame, and announced plans to build a 2,000-seat arena that has volleyball, cheerleading, wrestling, and 7 basketball courts for local kids. It's expected to generate over $14 million in visitor spending and create 250 jobs. And along with Shaq in 2015, Penny was featured in an ESPN 30 for 30 documentary that looked back at the 90s Orlando Magic team. He's also built his own barbershop and beauty salon in Memphis that he hires some of his close friends and family to work in. In 2016, Penny Hardaway and Charles Oakley started the Bottom Line Sports Show on Sirius XM, which is a sports talk show with basketball players and other athletes as special guests. And on January 20th, 2017, Penny Hardaway was inducted into the Orlando Magic Hall of Fame before a game against the Bucks. He was honored into their Hall of Fame, but as of now there's no plans to retire his number 1 jersey. He only played 5 seasons there and he didn't leave on the best of terms. If he ended up with a full Hall of Fame worthy career, maybe I could see them retiring his jersey, but Tracy McGrady also wore number 1 for the Orlando Magic, so I mean if anyone's jersey is getting retired it's probably his. Today though, Penny Hardaway is still under contract with Nike for his extremely popular shoes, so overall it's safe to say that even though Hardaway's career didn't go the way he wanted it to, definitely making the most out of his life after basketball and making some smart business choices. And he's been an extremely successful coach, so don't be surprised if you see Penny Hardaway as a college or even an NBA coach one day soon. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and catching up with where Penny Hardaway is now, definitely make sure to give it a like and comment who you'd like to see where they are now next.